David Hall here, founder and director of the Idea Centre, introducing a video which is going to look beyond continuous improvement at the next level, with a particular focus on looking at the importance of problem definition in driving the change process. And rather provocatively and rather tantalising, we're going to introduce the concept that we're calling the Spice Girls moment in terms of problem definition. So just watch on to find out more about this. Now, the start point for this story is that we've got to recognise that we as individuals and collectively as cultures in any organisation get trapped in a world of what is, surrounded by an atmosphere of conventional and traditional thinking. And what we tend to do is define problems in a manner that's entirely consistent with that world in which we're trapped, which does nothing more than continually perpetuate that world in which we're trapped. So, for example, with continuous improvement, we tend to express problems in incremental terms, or wanting to make things better, quicker. We want more of something, we want less of something, we want to increase something, we want to decrease something, example. And all these terms are incremental in terms of their definition. And what they'll do is generate solutions that are entirely consistent with that world in which we're trapped, the world of what is, and therefore don't be surprised that we'll end up with more of the same. What we want to do if we're going to drive step change or discontinuous improvement, which generate innovation, is that we want to break free from this entrapment in conventional and traditional thinking and access a world of what might be in some parallel universe somewhere where things are done in a completely transformed manner. The snag is that we've got a series of mental blocks in place that lock us in that world of what is. These are the mental blocks that keep us safe and warm and encourage us to do more of the same, but incrementally improving and challenging things. What we have to do if we want to drive creativity is get used to the idea of defining problems in terms which are above those mental blocks. Because then the only way of solving those particular problems is to break free of those mental blocks and release the creativity inherent within the organisation. The snag is that viewed from the world of what is, these new problem statements look impossible, almost by definition, because we're looking at these problem statements above these mental blocks in this world of what might be, from the world of what is. We're looking at those new definitions through the mental blocks. So by definition, they're going to look impossible. And there's a beautiful quote by Henry Ford, which is entirely relevant here, which is basically whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are absolutely correct. And it's got to be right. If you look at a problem statement and think it's impossible to solve it, then it becomes self-fulfilling because you will behave in a manner that is consistent with that belief and you will find it impossible to solve. Whereas if you look at the problem statement and say, well, I think it is possible, I just haven't found out how yet, then equally that's going to be correct. Because what you've now done is open the door to exploring the problem from different angles to see if you can find that parallel universe where things are done very differently. And the key to doing this, the key to driving this process is a problem definition that drives creativity and innovation. It lies with the Spice Girls, for goodness sake. Basically, we want you to tell us what you want, what you really, really want as an outcome of solving the problem in a perfect, unconstrained world. And if you define a problem in those terms, in terms of the outcome you'd wish for as a result of solving the problem in a perfect, unconstrained Spice Girls world, the only solutions that you can generate must, by definition, break free from those constraints of convention and tradition. And this is what will then drive the creative process. So now what we need to do is we need some help in overcoming those mental blockages, because just talking about it is one thing. We need some mechanisms, some tools to help us achieve that. And therefore it's now time for the creativity to come out. And that's exactly what we do at the Idea Centre. We help organisations understand the things that trap them in that world of what is, and then introduce them to tools and techniques and give them the skills to deliver them that release that potential to drive the innovation process.